vein on the left, and then here's your left external jugular vein, right? They're going to be converging together with your left subclavian vein, all right, to form the left brachiocephalic vein. And then over here, you can see the right brachiocephalic vein, but you can't really see anything else. You can see a little bit of the right subclavian vein as well, but as far as the convergence with the internal and external jugular veins on the right, you can't see any of that. You can just see where the right jugular, or rather the right brachiocephalic vein converges with the left brachiocephalic vein to form your superior vena cava. Right? Here is your inferior vena cava, right there. So let's start looking at the blood vessels that feed into the inferior vena cava. So right alongside your femoral artery on the right is your femoral vein. And when your femoral vein travels under your ilioinguinal ligament, it will become your right external iliac vein, which will converge with the right internal iliac vein right about here to form your right common iliac vein, which is traveling right alongside your right common iliac artery. Same thing's going on over here on the left, except that you can't really see very much of it. You can see a little bit of the left femoral vein, all right, which will then become the left external iliac vein, which will then converge with the left internal iliac vein to form your left common iliac vein, which will converge with the right common iliac vein over here to form your inferior vena cava. So all of this is the inferior vena cava. So up here you can see the renal veins. Here's your right renal vein, here's your left renal vein, which is much longer because the inferior vena cava is shifted over to the right, right? And then here you can see your right gonadal vein converging directly with the inferior vena cava. And then over here, and by the way, this is like in a teal plastic that is kind of faded over the years. It used to be the same color blue as the rest of the veins, but now it's kind of a greenish color. And then over here you can see what's left of your left renal, or rather left gonadal vein, which is converging with the left renal vein instead of the inferior vena cava because it takes a little shortcut, all right? Because the inferior vena cava is shifted all the way over to the right. Likewise, sitting on top of your left kidney, you can see your adrenal gland here, and it is being drained by your left suprarenal vein, right? Because the alternative name for the adrenal gland is the suprarenal gland. You can't see the suprarenal vein over here on the right for some reason. Right? The suprarenal vein, if you could see it, would drain directly into the inferior vena cava on the right, though. All right, everybody, so that's all you can see here on this model. Let's shift over